can't believe I'm doing this. I really can't. I debated whether or not to do this because, quite honestly, I don't want to do this. So then why am I doing it? I don't know if I have the answer to that yet, but I figured I'm just going to do it live. So that way it's done. I've always been horrible at editing video. I think the vlogs are an exception. Thank goodness they're still going. Obviously, I suck at YouTube, and that is abundantly clear. I never really cracked the nut on algorithms, but like many of you, I waited with bated breath to see what Apple was going to unleash upon the world yesterday with a reimagining of iOS. Now, my hope in this reimagining would be like a complete reboot, which is what it's needed for some time. My biggest fear in being someone who buys Apple products, who uses Apple products, I'm using a Mac, I'm using the iPhone, the 15 Pro Max. Is that the latest one? I don't know. I can't keep track of all the numbers anymore. It's crazy. I'm glad you've been waiting for this. That's great. And let me first process this, right? Pardon. I may repeat myself, but I've got to just talk. I've got to get this off my chest. My biggest fear with what they were going to do was effectively put lipstick on a pig. But what they did was so much worse. Keep in mind, people will judge me. Well, Chris, you don't this, and Chris, you don't that. And, well, I'm nobody. I know that. I have no weight, carry no sway. I understand that. I'm not, going to claim that I do. But that doesn't make my opinion any less valid.
I'm right.
And it doesn't make the truth any less truthy. Fact. So thank you for listening to this. I don't intend on doing this again and again and again. I want my life to be more than just a choice of a phone or a choice of a desktop platform. I am having so much fun with technology, so much fun with 3D printing new things. This was 3D printed. These were 3D printed. So I do my photography up there sometimes. These were 3D printed. Yeah, this Lego minifigure of Vader. Look at that. 3D printed. I've been having so much fun with 3D printing. Love that. Been streaming on MakerDeck 24/7 on Twitch, for a few years now. And I'm very grateful for the people who support that, not just the people who help make it happen on the back end, the producers, but also the people who participate. I've also been having a ton of fun lately with vibe coding. I'm actually developing little web apps. Now, you can keep this in mind. I wanted this to be fun. I wanted this to be over the top. I wanted this design to be retro. That was my intention for the design. This is over at arcade.perillo.com or perillo.com/arcade. And every few days, I'm basically uploading a new web app, like a functioning web app, whether it's a game or playing around with ASCII art, text transformations. I uploaded or created a to-do list. This was kind of fun, right? And it uses local storage. This is using something called neomorphism. You can look at that. I completed a goal. I did this. I vibe coded this in using Google Gemini 2.5 Pro. And I'm running into limitations. I'd like to upgrade to Ultra, but for that to happen, I kind of need your help. If you want to support me, that'd be great. You can become a member of the YouTube channel, subscribe on Twitch, support on Discord. The email newsletter has got premium subscriptions as well. The Patreon campaign is still up. If you can, it'd be great because I kind of want to keep doing this kind of thing. I want to develop web software, web apps that you can install on your phone if you want. And this does work. Like it's an actual to-do list, right? This is neomorphism or neomorphism, not quite skeuomorphism, but kind of like the next step up. But I'm not a designer. I'm not a developer, but I am having so much fun developing all sorts of awesome things, like an alien computer terminal, where every time if you hit refresh, it's a different interface. These are all free on the website. I've been basically vibe coding live for the past few weeks. Again, primarily using Google Gemini 2.5 Pro. I'd like to upgrade to Ultra. To do that, I would love to get your support. Take a look, have fun. Look, I even did a Perillo 95 simulator. Look at this, and it even has a working start menu and everything. Right click and all that stuff. So take a look at this if you want. Have fun with it. Back when interfaces were pretty clean. Everything else maybe not as clean as it would be today, but I hope you have fun with this, and I hope you tune in, and I hope you care to support. So I've been having fun. I'd like to do this a lot more. What I'm showing you here, the coding stuff, the developing stuff, because I've been having a blast. Absolutely having a blast. This is fun. What I'm going to talk about, however, is not fun for me. So I want to be very clear about that, okay? Before really going. So thanks again for all your support. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Please pay attention to what it is that I'm interested in now. The coding stuff, developing stuff. It's been a lot of fun. Talking about something that is absolutely revolting is not fun, because it's just negative. It's negative energy. It's frustrating. It's anger inducing. And man, I can't be the only one. PTSD, flashbacks to iOS 7, going, shrug emoji. It's not like I didn't warn you. It's not like I didn't tell you it was a canary in the coal mine. It's not like I didn't sit here. Not in the old chair. I donated the old chair because no one wanted it. Couldn't even give it away. I just recently upgraded to this chair because it matches my office decor. But I sat in this spot and basically said Apple is losing the game and resting on its laurels, and just so filled with its own what's the phrase I'm looking for? They're believing their own hype, right? The hubris that Apple has. Well, we're Apple and we design things well. Really? What's really funny now, with or in the wake of this being unleashed upon the world, iOS 26 and macOS 26 and all the 26s, which, by the way, I think that was one thing that I appreciated, because it helps me keep track of versions and releases so much better. I can remember that. I can remember iOS 26. That was a smart move. But what it is, some people who did not experience the unleashing or the movement from skeuomorphism to flat design and performance to a dramatic drop in performance that sustained to current day in bits and pieces. Some people weren't around when we went from iOS 6 to 7. They weren't around. They were still kids, they were, or they weren't even born yet, right? Well, now they're experiencing an iOS 7 moment. And I'm not sitting here reveling in Schadenfreude at all. I'm like, I don't want that. But Apple, I guarantee, in unleashing everything, I'm don't worry, I've got some stuff to back me up here, because I have been on X, on social media certainly, but you resharing and commenting and getting into it, because I've got a lot of interest in what's going on, because people are just like absolutely repulsed by the idea that the entire Apple experience is this now. Can you see this? Can you see what it is? Do you know what this is? Yeah, it's a ruler. Yeah. Can you use it? Can you use the ruler? Yeah. It works great on light backgrounds. Look at that. You can, even at a distance. At a distance, you can see, look at you can see the little black chiclets there. I mean, I realize the streaming resolution is not amazing, but look at this. See, look at that. But is it usable closer? Now, granted, you might say, well, it's a little blurry. That's not the problem I want to point out, right? You can see the numbers on my face Can you see them over the black background? You can't. Why? Apple designed this liquid glass experience like a 99-cent ruler that I've got in my hand. This is the value of what they put out. This is what they spent all their time on, right? Some designer's fever dream of what looks good on paper, but not actually in implementation. And I know people are going to bend over backwards. They'll fix it. They'll fix it in software. Like, that's their vision. That's their vision of what they want things to be. You're either on board or you're not. And you know what? Apple does not care because they're going to keep selling products. People won't vote with their wallets necessarily. I kind of voted for my wallet, but I also didn't. I'm still using macOS. I'm still using an iPhone. The iPad got a hell of a lot more interesting. That's for sure. With everything that they're doing with that and windowed apps, and I'm like, well, welcome to using Samsung DeX years ago, I guess. I switched to I'm using a Pixel for the camera that's attached to the 3D printer over here. Look at that. It's me today, a grumpy cat. I use the Pixel, the latest one, the 9. I've got the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra here. That's my daily driver. Not that it matters, right? We all make different choices. I'm not sitting here trying to piss in your Cheerios. If you like what they're doing, that is great. That is amazing. I am so glad that you love what you use. But Apple, I guarantee, is thinking, what are they going to do? Seriously, that's what they're thinking. What are they going to do? Are they going to leave? What are they going to, become a green bubble? I mean, like, what are they going to do? We have all their photos. We have all their notes. We have their contacts. We have all these things, right? We've got their media. We've got all these things that are going to keep them from making that leap, even if they don't like what we're doing. That's Apple's attitude. And it's very clear. I mean, I thought iOS 7 was a slap in the face, but this is why I think iOS 26 in this liquid glass, design language is just insult to injury, because you think they would have learned. Don't get me started on Apple Intelligence or the lack thereof. Siri is a laughing stock, and it has been for years. So even if you could get past certain hurdles, we're still dealing with other hurdles, like Apple's doing very well. I don't care how much money they make. I just want a product that works well. Well, it gets better over time. You shouldn't care about a product that gets better over time. You should care about the product as it is today, not what it's going to be. Period. End of story. I've been saying this for years. Don't make excuses for them. Don't. Now, you can like what they're doing. That's fine. But don't make excuses for them. Inexcusable for a company that size. Inexcusable. But this is what happens when you don't have direction. This is what happens when you lose sight of what's valuable. This is what happens when you don't have a product person in charge. Quite honestly. This is what happens when you don't listen to user feedback, right? This is what happens. iOS 7 was a canary in the coal mine. Absolutely. We'll see if I open AI. I'll show you my post on X. I'm like, this would be a great time for Microsoft to bring back Windows Phone. And that's the thing. They own us. We have a chance to get out. I'm out of the ecosystem. I figured out a way. But I wanted desperately to go back to the iPhone. Desperately. Every so often, with an update, I check it out. I'm like, okay, could I do this? Could I do this? But ultimately, after having been accustomed to forget the ecosystem, the usability of Android on both the Pixel, which I'm not thrilled about. They've got some UI snags that they've really not addressed at all, and maybe they will with Android 16, which is set to be released today, I guess. But Samsung, I think, has had a best-in-class mobile operating system for quite some time. They get it. Samsung gets it. They genuinely do. I was not thrilled with One UI 7. I think they made many steps backwards, Samsung. I'm definitely not excited about One UI 8 in any way, shape, or form. But there's not enough pain that's being induced to push me away from the current choice, even though it's not perfect. I decrapify Samsung by using good lock modules, and just generally figuring out how I want to make the experience, and it's been great. Honestly, Samsung, no one's paying me for saying anything I'm saying. These are just 100% my opinions. So doing my best to keep up on chat here and comments, and I will come back to them, but I want to say what I want to say first. The emperor has no clothes, and I told you this years ago. People have the idea that it's Apple, so they design everything well. They used to, and bits and pieces, here and there, there's some small wins for sure, but when the whole is not greater than the sum of its parts, or it becomes death by 1,000 cuts, that's when it's just they've gone too far. And it's been vindicating over the years to see people demonstrate the things that I was explaining. Like, they've shown in video, and I don't have that video in front of me, right? And I think I did it. I vlogged the frame jumps. I did vlog that when I got the new iPhone a few months ago, whenever they released it. It's juddery, right? Apple just hadn't nailed the software experience, because Apple, they don't sell software, they sell hardware, or now they sell services and hardware. The software works well enough, and people will buy anything, and they'll believe that Apple's great because it's Apple, not because it's best in class. It isn't. It hasn't been a best in class experience for years. And if all you've known is iOS, then I feel sorry. So not everybody's in that position to be able to try multiple things, but I am genuinely sorry, because you have not seen a viable alternative. And if you want to see, I may be showing this here in the X post, if you want to see a side-by-side about different visions, look at what Google's doing with Android 16 and the usability and the customization in Android 16 on the Pixel, in a stark contrast to what Apple's shipping. Even in beta, Google did a better job than Apple in beta. Whatever Apple's released, they'll dial it back. I'll come back to that. I'll come back to the excuse you're probably going to make. They'll fix it in post. I'll come back to that excuse. I will. Because I don't believe it. Fool me once. I waited for years for Apple to upgrade their ship with iOS 7. They didn't. We still have vestiges of iOS 7 in the platforms. So I want Apple to do better. Chris, why are you doing this? I want Apple to do better. I want them to do better because I want a better product. So any kind of rant isn't necessarily trying to tear them down or slam anybody else for loving what they love. Hey, man, again, I don't want to piss in your Cheerios, but I do challenge them to do better. Apple, do better. Do better. Okay. So now for some support. And by the way, Greg, good to see you. Thanks for your support. Thank you for being a member of this channel. Bread Generations of single task people. You get used to it, and you don't realize just how deep you're in it. It's like a frog in boiling water, right? You throw it in, you turn the temperature up slowly, and it boils. But if you throw it in a boiling pot of water or a hot pot of water, it's just going to jump right out. You just acclimate to that, and that's exactly what happens. We get used to it. We get comfortable. That's the human condition. Apple is relying on momentum. Will it work? I don't know. Will people here's the thing. As crappy as the software experience they're about to unleash is, will people jump ship? No. Where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? Microsoft's still trying to figure its way through Windows 11. Where are they going to go? Linux? Okay. Where are they going to go? What choice are they going to make? Apple's not... Apple doesn't have competition. They don't. They should, but they don't. There's a lot of momentum out there. People aren't going to jump ship. They're not. For as much saber rattling, they'll stick with them, hoping for the best. I'm like, okay. One thing I've learned about, well, I got to be careful about what I say. Will I still suggest or recommend Apple devices to people like my parents? I got to think long and hard about that one. My response in recent years has been yes, because that's what they've been used to. Yes. I'm not so sure anymore. I don't know. I think my parents are going to struggle with this. That's my belief. I could be wrong. My mom can't see things as it is. She's legally blind, which apparently the entire Apple design team is as well. So kudos to them for thinking about the blind people, because now you can't read squat. And I know people, well, but this is this and that's this, and but this is and it's that, and it's we did this and we thought about that and we did. Okay, don't tell me what I see. Do I look like I'm in an abusive relationship? Don't gaslight me. Don't tell me what I see. Don't tell me how I feel when I see what I see. Don't. And I'm not telling you what to see either at all. What I am saying is, unlike the days of iOS 7, when I was here with my hair on fire going, what is going on? What is happening? It seemed that everybody was still on that train, like, oh, this is the best thing. Flat. Oh my God. Now, I'm telling you, the everything's turned. I mean, the amount of negative sentiment I've seen, but in social, throughout social, even from the Apple faithful, even from the people that are dyed in the wool. Apple's finally having its Vista moment, and it's overdue. It's long overdue. I mean, Apple is literally having its literal Vista moment. We had Aero Glass, remember? Which I thought was, back then, I thought was pretty dang cool. I really did. I liked the Aero Glass components in Windows Vista, right? Certainly. The problem is, it just wasn't cohesive. It wasn't everywhere. It was just kind of tacked on. It wasn't everywhere. Microsoft still doesn't have its act together as far as design. It's getting there, slowly but surely, and maybe one day. I'm hopeful. I would see it as a viable alternative, but right now it's not. It is definitely not there. It's still good. Microsoft still has its foot firmly planted in the past, and now Apple has its foot firmly planted in the past. Apple's got a different set of challenges. They got to change things without making things seem like they've changed. But I'm telling you, if enough people go, if enough people leave, Apple will get the memo. I think what's happening with AI is going to accelerate that. What Google's doing is just transformative. When I stand next to someone who's got an iPhone and they're trying to do something with Siri, and I open up with Gemini now, right, and say something, Gemini Live or whatever, they're like, oh my God, you can do that? Yeah, you can do that. And it's native. Oh my God, you can do that? Yeah. Yeah. I can't leave Apple. I can't leave iOS. I've just been using it so long. All my apps are on there. It's just designed better. Really? Okay. It's your choice. Knock yourself out. I don't know if they don't listen to their fans. They just don't accommodate feedback. They've got a lot of decisions to make and a lot of outcomes to weigh. I think Apple is in a worse position than Microsoft, though, as far as this is concerned. I don't know if Apple just pulled a Zune. The Zune was usable. And just like I said, people, just like Paula said, people will still get the new iPhone. They still will. So now I'm going to jump into some supporting evidence of sorts. Look at 10 new notifications since. I don't know why, but this is an example here. Someone posted, and I want to give everybody credit. Oh my! Oh my God! Oh my God! Vince, if you changed a chat with me to this, I would unfriend you so quickly. I'd be like, yo, let's jump to Discord. Yo, nah, dude. Nah, son. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know if I reshared it, but Apple, or someone said yesterday, and I'm quoting, and I can't remember if I accelerated this, but Steve Jobs is powering the entire state of California with how fast he is spinning in his grave right now. It's just, please let me wake from this nightmare. I mean, it's funny to me because I'm like, some of us have, and some of us were warning you. iOS 7 was a canary in the freaking coal mine. See, everything I said back then, I haven't changed my tune. You can go back. You can listen to everything I said, and it stands up. I wasn't all, Apple's great, and Apple's great, and it's the latest and greatest, and the latest, fastest. I wasn't doing any of that song and dance routine. Unlike people who wanted to still have access. I didn't need access. I didn't want access. I wanted to be able to speak my truth. This is garbage. This is garbage. Even if you took away all the, just for this, even if you took away the background, right? It was just a white background. It would still, the layout looks like crap. Look at that. Just look at the rounded corners cutting. This is so bad. It's just so bad. So bad on top of so bad. Like, instead of going from okay to okay plus, hey, this is a little better. Nah, dude. This isn't even lipstick on a pig. I don't know what this is. What is this? You tell me, what is this? What is this? And if you can sit there and tell me with a straight face that the layout of these elements and the padding and how this looks, ignoring the tacky background, the entire iOS experience has now been rendered tacky. If not, if you can look past the usability problems, right? Things that are good in theory don't actually work well in practice. This ruler that I got, right? In theory, cool. Like I can, when I'm like holding it over a light object, I can see crap. But if I'm trying to measure, let's say the keys on my Magic Keyboard, yeah, can you see the ruler? But Chris, they'll dial it up. They'll make adjustments. I'm coming to that. I'll get to that. But first, tell me, what the hell is this? This is amateur hour. It's amateur hour. And then they even, again, it is beta, but this is their direction. Apple doesn't change a lot once they rolled out there. They put this out. This is what they put out. This is what they decided to put out. This is what they decided was ready. Beta or otherwise. This is what they decided. Okay, just one example. Performance, I can't necessarily speak to right now because it is beta. But this would the performance surprise me? Not at all. Wouldn't surprise me a bit. Does the design surprise me? Not at all. Doesn't surprise me. It does not surprise me that this is what you get. This is what you get for not taking a principled stand. This is what you get for not saying, oh, you know what, Apple? That's fine. You do what you're going to do. I'm going somewhere else. This is what you get with complacency. This is what you get for not speaking up. This is what you get. This is what you get. This is what you get for not pushing back. This is what you get. This is what you get. Anybody who would sit there and tell me that I'm I'm wrong, or admittedly these are all my opinions. This is what you get. This is exactly what you get. For years, I've been complaining about scroll performance on iOS. Years! Since iOS 7, I've been complaining. And I've been gaslit over and over again. I don't see scrolling performance. There's no problem with iOS. There's no problem with scrolling. Scrolling isn't a problem. You're seeing things. It must be your phone. Your phone is broken, Chris. Your phone is broken. No. Colonize space. AI could have done a better job. Hell, I'm not a designer. But even I feel like I would have been able to say, hey, yo, this ain't right. Here's why it ain't right. And I didn't go to school and got a fancy design degree. I did go to school, but for English education. But I'm a user. I'm a user advocate. I'm a product manager. I'm someone who develops experiences. I try to keep that nonsense from happening. For years, I was gaslit. There's no scrolling problems. Animations are fine on iOS. It's fluid. Your phone is broken. Maybe you need to clean it. This post, vindicating. That's what I think that's what's so anger-inducing. Everything I'm seeing is just so vindicating. Which you'd think, well, Chris, shouldn't you be happy? You're vindicated. Everything you've been saying is coming from everything you've been saying, Chris, has been. I'm like, yeah, I'm vindicated. But that's what makes me so angry. Is that it took people so long, this long, if they even see it. If they see it. Swift UI fixed scroll performance. Just like that. Now, in practice, we haven't seen it because we're still dealing with buggy code, beta code. Admittedly, we're not final, but this is the direction they're going. I'm coming to that. You're going to say, Chris, they'll fix it in software. They'll fix this. That's what they said about 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 and 6, all the way down. That's what they said. They're finally getting around to potentially fixing it. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? What does that tell you right there? What does that tell you? Here's what it tells me. It tells me I was right. That's what that tells me. That tells me right there I was right. I was right. Because if it wasn't broken, why would they need to fix it? If it wasn't broken. So what they were saying right there, laid out the data, it was broken. It's been broken. Software is not Apple's priority. Period. End of story. Beautiful hardware. Zero doubt in my mind. Great, fantastic hardware. I can't imagine running, on a Mac OS on anything less than an M1. Anything less. And it's so good. The M1 processor is so good. I can't even justify an upgrade yet. I want an upgrade. Don't get me wrong. You run local models, right? But hardware. I have zero problems with the hardware. Zero. This ain't hardware. That's software. Every step of the way, vindication. Now, Parker, this to me, this is going to deflate your bubble. Okay, for all those who believe, they'll fix it, they'll adjust it, they'll make it easier, they'll make it more usable. Yeah, they'll make minor tweaks. I'm sure about that. I'm confident. Don't sit there and say, Chris, see, they fit. Now, I already know. Yeah, things will get fixed. Things will get patched. Things will get addressed. But Parker brings this up. When Minimal Nerd tweeted, whatever the hell, that this is how accessibility options affect Liquid Class. So you can see that button, the transparency, initially, it changes, becomes more opaque. And then another one where it's just black and white. So it changes in the system. They've built it in. Just like Parker said, this is why they won't tone it down. They already did. It's just optional. So by default, you're going to have a crappy experience, and you have to decrapify it. Maybe that'll go far enough. I don't know. It'll make it a different experience. I can tell you that. After turning off motion smoothness, what was the toggle on iOS? I've forgotten now. Turning off the transitions and the animations because they were just so crappy, and the frame rate consistency issues. And it has been shown, and I have shared the frame rate consistency. Apple nerfs frame rates. I know you're happy that you got 120 hertz capable screen on your ProMotion display, but Apple caps it. Apple kneecaps it around 80 FPS to save battery. That's great. I'm not interested. Like I crank that all the way up, and it makes a massive difference. That's why when you start using an Android device like a Pixel or let's say a Samsung device, you'll notice that it's substantially smoother. Substantially. With scrolling and general performance on lesser hardware because the software is better optimized. Period. Oh, thank you. Reduced motion. Thank you, Gabriel. I appreciate it. So what they're saying is it ain't broke. Apple's hubris is telling you, no, dude, it ain't broke. What are you talking? Ain't broke. Ain't nothing. You need to fix it. I'll just turn it off in accessibility. Now this is our vision. Our vision for what you need to use. We are making the decisions for you. And you know, for years that was fine. For years that worked. Then they booted Forstall in the wake of Steve Jobs, unfortunately passing. This is what happens. So is that cool? Like seeing this animation? It's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. For the first 5 minutes. For the first 5 minutes, something like that is interesting. Then I want to turn it off. Okay, this is too much. It's over the top, dude. And I do that all the time. It just gets in the way. It becomes taxing on my patience. Cool. Yeah. Responsive for sure. But unnecessary AF. Too much bounce. Too much transparency transition. It's too much. And you can take a look at any one of these people. You can get their bona fides, see exactly who they are. Yep. Is it DeFi? Not sure how to say your name, but they've been doing false advertising with 120, just like they were doing false advertising with 60. Didn't even come close. It doesn't even come close. And you don't realize just how bad it is until you see an alternative. And for whatever it's worth, as I'm doing this live video, again, I don't want to do this every day for the rest of my life. I don't. I want to get back to vibe coding and having fun with technology and 3D printing and stuff. Feel free to keep following. The next live video, I plan on doing another live video tonight, which is the cardinal sin on YouTube. I feel like I'm going to be doing that again tonight. That's my normal jam. Far less complaining. Usually, unless Gemini is pushing back. I hit my Gemini limits, unfortunately. So thanks again for all your support, membership, upgrading your subscription from free. It's very appreciated. At least Apple didn't forget about the 4 Macs that have the touch bar and added the liquid glass sliders. But God, is it laggy. So a crappy idea and crappy implementation of a new crappy idea. It's funny to me. This is funny. I had a touch bar Mac. I think I used the touch bar once. Interesting idea, right? Interesting, fascinating idea. What if? But so Apple doesn't have a direction. They don't. They just don't have a direction. Apple doesn't have a vision, and yes, they have the vision. I would love to get a vision. I cannot wait. Hey, Tito, thanks again for, I think you posted on Threads. Thank you. I cannot wait for Apple and Google and all I can't wait for the smart glasses revolution. By the way, these are the Meta Wayfarer smart glasses. They're garbage. I mean, I've got a vlog coming up using them, but their product vision is also blinded. There's a lot of nonsense that's happening with the Meta glass. I got them cheap, like for like $100 after a rebate or something. That's the only reason I have them. Can't wait for that future. Can't wait to have the heads-up display and all that stuff. Can't wait. I'm very, very, very excited. And the liquid glass metaphor, if you will, that language works better on a Vision Pro than I feel it does on a Mac or a smartwatch, right? So anyway, so I'm excited for that. I do not have a Vision Pro. Would I like one? Sure, who wouldn't? But not at that price. No way. Maybe I can score one, for super cheap. I gotta be budget conscious, kind of like Apple's design team. And now, no, I'm not gonna slam their design team. I'm gonna slam their product team, because this is a horrible product. This person, there's no way that Apple could make the iPhone photo management app worse. Apple Liquid Glass at WWDC 25. Oh man. This is the direction Apple wants to go, and they're going to double down. They're not going to tell you you're wrong. They're just going to expect you to step in line. And you will. Doesn't make it better. Oh, you switched over to Android? It was scary at first, but so worth it. That's what I feel. I feel it's a long thing. Just a useless gimmick. Apple needs to get back to real innovation. Not sure that's possible without a job seeker. It's true. Curtis, that's exactly what I've been saying. I mean, I'm not faulting Tim for doing what he's done with the company. He's done amazing things with the company. Amazing things. Oh my God. Fantastic things. But he's supply chain. He's not product. And it's very clear. All this nonsense changes when they put a product person in charge. And if the next person who's in charge is not a product person, yeah, I don't know, dude. I can't wait for the next Apple. I'll just say that. There's my post. Now would be a great time for Microsoft to bring back Windows Phone, right? And this is over on, you can follow me anywhere, right? Here, let me give you my, there's my links to all my socials. Can I pin that? I can ban the user. I'm not going to ban myself. Let me pin it. There you go. Also on Discord and everything. Apple's okay. Here's one from Santiago, who's a computer scientist. Apple's keynote was embarrassing. In the year of our Lord 2025, you can't unironically type Genmoji at the same time your 15-year-old quote unquote AI assistant can't answer a single question reliably. I've watched every keynote since 2009. My memory might be failing me, but I don't recall a worse keynote than the one we watched yesterday. 100% absolutely and completely devoid of anything remotely exciting. Well, I'll disagree there. 90 minutes of magical and amazing and unimportant fluff. I'll also disagree there. I think the moves they made with iPadOS in terms of functionality, I think were massive steps forward. Somebody told me that Apple doesn't want to cave to hype and buzzwords. Well, guess what? Apple Intelligence is the textbook definition of hype and buzzwords. Yeah, that's true. Now, he's pushing for Tim Cook to resign immediately and take the entire C-suite of Apple with him. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're even close to it. But I do think they need to put a product person in charge. That's been my belief since iOS 7. Yep, they did a fantastic job taking Apple all the way here, but the last 2 years have made it clear that they can't or don't want to turn the ship around. For somebody who loves Apple products, this is painful to watch. That's what I was saying in iOS 7. For someone who loves Apple products, this is painful to watch. That's what I was saying. You may have just tuned in to the live stream, and that's fine. But I had mentioned that earlier. No, I have no intention. Because what's the alternative? What's the alternative? Tell me what the alternative is. What's the alternative? And like I said, I haven't seen the new version. I haven't had a chance to try it. I've seen some concerning screenshots for the Mac. But are they going to change it? I don't know. Is it going to get in my way? I don't know. But Windows is not the answer, unfortunately. Not right now. Not yet. Still isn't. Maybe one day. I can't bank on one day. And maybe there will be enough pain that I'll get shoved away. I don't know yet. Looks versus functionality. Most people would pick functionality over looks. I'll come back to that because I think I accelerated a post on that. Took this picture this morning. I don't think it's going to get much attention because of the algorithm. But if you here, let me wait. No, that's not the way you do it. You do it this way. Copy link. If you care to accelerate it. I missed the iOS 6 days as well. In fact, I'm currently vibe coding, and I got Gemini doesn't do a very good job with icons, but let me show you this over on my arcade. Oops, closed the wrong one. Over on my arcade page. If you go here, you see everything. Last night I started to vibe code something. And this isn't up yet, but like an iPhone 1, right? And I've got it, but it's basically an iPhone on the web. And then the idea is that you'll be able to have, they won't be the exact stock apps. But like you can go into like the tip calculator and you can do a tip calculation of like, here it's that much money, and then it'll calculate. Things are broken on this so far, but the home button works. There was another one. No, Notes actually has the So I was vibe coding this last night. I'll finish it maybe today, but I got cut off on Gemini. There's another app that works here too. Where is it? There's a password generation tool. So I got to work on it, but I started vibe coding this late last night just to get it out, just to get it started. But yeah, I do miss the days of iOS as well, iOS 6 as well. So I thought I'd have fun with that. Okay. So this morning, I posted this. I took the picture of the ruler right over this notebook, and one out of 5 stars. Arrived clear, left me confused. 10 out of 10 for design, 0 out of 10 for function. Just basically what you had just said. Mentioned Apple's finally having its Vista moment. Great. So you're telling me Apple has been working on the operating system for 12 years, and all they did was lower the opacity of everything to 40%. All they did was lower the opacity of it. That's what it feels like. Pinboard. Here's my Apple. I'm still using the Lightning one because I don't know if I can justify the upgrade to the USB-C as much as I'd like to. It's like, well, it's an added expense right now, and I'm being very mindful of that. But this was a quote of Luca saying, "Apple engineers are perfectionists. We obsess over every tiny detail you'll ever notice." I mean, it's just like, dude, the dunks basically write themselves. That's what's going on there. You can't make this stuff up. Oh, that's something else. This is not related to Apple, but Shweta said, "Are you talking to anyone?" Yes, his name is ChatGPT, and we're in a hallucination ship. That was funny. Matt posted this screen grab, and you're looking and saying to yourself, "Oh, I'm sorry, I need to take that down." No, they passed away a few years ago. I did vlogs on that, so you'd have to research the channel. Right now, I've got. If you're watching the latest vlogs, you'll know I've got a new dog, Rocket, a Schnauzer. Every day we stray farther off Steve's light. You look at it and go, "Oh, my phone would never be like this." No, dude, here's the problem. Here's the problem with this. This is going to make it into shipping. I guarantee. The problem with this is that they use Microsoft Teams. No. The problem with this is that it's possible to do. It's possible to do. Google drove me nuts. They still drive me nuts because all their icons look the same. I'm like, I can't find what the hell it is I'm looking for. What's the point of icons anymore? Maybe we need a new paradigm, a usability paradigm. Maybe we're going to get there. Maybe we'll have an appless future. This is nonsense. The fact that Apple made this possible. This is the kind of garbage nonsense that you'd have on a jailbroken phone for 5 minutes back in the day. Not 2025. From a multi-billion, if not trillion-dollar company? This is the best they can do? Really? This? They made this possible? They made it possible for you to do this on your phone. Like, there's a certain point at which too much customization is possible. It's shameful. It is shameful. You can sit there and, Chris, you do better. I'm like, I'm getting paid to do that. I'm getting paid to do this. Ads don't pay the bill anymore. Content doesn't pay the bills anymore. Why do you think I'm moving to coding? Been having a blast at it. Thank you for supporting. Ben Rudolph, Microsofter. which I followed for years. I can't say I've always agreed with him, but no one's always agreed with me either. Hang on. I'll come back to this. Don, how are you shocked? No, you're not shocked. You're not shocked, Don. And here's why you're not shocked. You're shocked about liquid glass is going to age so poorly. You're not shocked. iOS 7 was a canary in the coal mine. You've had how many years to acclimate to Apple's questionable design decisions in software? How many years? How are you shocked? Unless you've had your head in the sand. How are you shocked? I'm not questioning your level of shockedness at all. I'm just saying, like, this is not new. Nothing here is new. It's just crappier. It's crappier on top of the crap they've been feeding us. Oh, watch out. High-pitched voice Chris is here. Things are going to get serious. I love that at WWDC 2006, Apple made these banners to be snarky. And then in 2025, they literally shipped Vista 2.0. Oh, man. Nah, Johnny screwed things up. I blame Johnny for iOS 7. I blame him. He's to blame. Software design is not the same as hardware design. Period. End of story. Johnny wasn't the secret. Forstall was. Forstall was Jobs. Forstall could have made things and would have made things better, but they booted him. That was a mistake. He was divisive, yeah, but so was Jobs. Forstall was their option. Apple screwed up. They didn't need a Johnny. I think Johnny's overrated. He genuinely is. This person, Apple and Microsoft switched design teams a couple years ago, and no one noticed until today. I don't know if I go that far. Microsoft is getting there-ish. It's not quite there. It's still, Windows is still clunky and chunky and not great and still enables crap and still not cohesive. It's getting there. Slowly but surely, very slowly. Windows still needs to, clean its act up. And it's not there. It's not there at all. 1 foot firmly planted in the past. That's Microsoft's problem. And now it's Apple's problem too. Good design got diluted in liquid glass. This is an article. I can jump to it here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it though. Oh, I guess it's not it's an article on X. I thought it was an article on another website. Henry Ford famously said that if you asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. And now that story comes full circle. Steve Jobs was famous for taking risky decisions. User research was never a big part of Apple. They didn't ask users for feedback. They delighted them with something new and innovative time and time again. There's the first iPhone. The first iPhone won me over with the weather app. That was it. That's exactly right. It was something someone made a concept of 15 years ago. It's a concept, but horrible in practice. Apple design language was classy. Look at that. Past tense. Was classy. Right there. Was classy. It was the epitome of the word designer wrapped in a cute beige box since 1984. It was a stark contrast to what Microsoft was doing for most of the last 3 decades. But now Microsoft is catching up, and Apple seems a bit lost. Microsoft's catching up, but it's not there yet. Apple design relied heavily on what Dieter Rams had devised before them, and those inspirations were as clear as glass. No ironic. You can't just ask customers what they want and then just try to give it to them. By the time you get it built, they want something new. If you let people design their record players, like the biggest problem of design is people. Good design requires taste. So now, remember going back up to that thing, they allow this to now happen on the phone. Good design requires taste. Taste requires time and a lot of energy. Regular people won't see a difference between Helvetica and Verdana. Regular people still use Comic Sans unironically. Countless regular people have used the horrifying Samsung's handwritten font in their phone UI. Are you seeing it clearly now? You're looking through some liquid glass. But yeah, some people use it. I'm like, you're nuts. It's crazy. To this day, you could do that. Yes, this is real. I wanted to come back to this point because I've said it too. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. We laughed at Samsung for making the UI crazy ugly. Read that again and again and again. Of course it wasn't them. The default was a normal typeface, but they let the people change it, and the people picked what the people wanted. It was called Choco Cookie. It was popular. We laughed at Samsung for making the UI crazy ugly. That's the thing. What Apple's been unleashing, Apple users used to make fun of other companies. They used to make fun of Microsoft. They used to make fun of other companies for doing the thing that they've been doing now. If someone else rolled out, if any other company on the planet rolled out liquid glass, they'd be lambasted even more so by the Apple diehards. But now, you're living in a glass house, man. You're living in a liquid glass house. Can't throw stones. Okay, again, I don't want to do this all the time, Jeremy. I want to get back to vibe coding, please. I want to get back to making new web apps. So please let me on the arcade website. I'm doing a new web. Look, did you see? Look, you can even ask me, Chris, you need to go outside and touch grass. No, I don't. I built a touch grass emulator. So I'm touching grass right now. Touch grass. I built this. I made this. You can play with the touch grass emulator right now, if you want, over on the arcade. See, there you go. It's free. Vibe coding something new, dang near every other day. These web apps, which you'll be able to install on your phone easily. Oh, Corey, thank you for upgrading and becoming a member. Thank you. I'm touching grass, changing the blade length a bit. Let's make it a little longer. There we go. Nice, thick, lush. Let's diminish that wind strength. Increase the density. You are my density. There we go. Okay, it's nice. Okay, I've touched grass. I should keep that open, to come back to it. Let's get back to where we were. Apple is losing to consumers. Being one of the most valuable companies and changing from design-driven to market-driven has changed Apple profoundly. That's the problem. Since Steve Jobs died and Johnny Ive left, and Johnny was questionable, they don't have a clear design leader that'll put his or her foot down and forge a path forward. They went the safer, let's ask the customer's way instead. Humans personalize. We, as humans, have a natural tendency to personalize things. Can you guess when we'll see a handwritten Comic Sans style typeface in iOS? I'm guessing iOS 28 tops. Jarring colors, but it's mine. Apple design, now it's ours, regular. Apple won't tell you what good design is anymore. It lets you be the designer. You're the gatekeeper of this garden now too. Ugly UI, that's on you. Oh my God, I miss skeuomorphism so much. This was so awesome. This was so cool. Look at that. iOS used to have a soul. It used to have a soul. We can now laugh at what we want at the wooden all we want at the wooden shelves, but at least they were designed. They look good for the time in all possible conditions. Books looked great on them. It was natural. I should be cheering for liquid glass. After all, I was the one who coined the term glassomorphism because I was tired by all the companies calling it different names. The frosted glass effect, a result of simple black background blur, is here to stay. It can look stunning too. In many apps or websites, we worked on it, made total sense to use it. Many examples Apple has shown are truly beautiful, but they all rely on user choices, and that almost never ends well. I'm not happy about these changes. Look at that. In many places, it's a nightmare of cognitive overload and low readability. The glass refractions need a certain level of transparency to look the best, and that level will crash and burn on half of the backgrounds. The only problem with Microsoft, this is a quote, the only problem with Microsoft is they have no taste. They don't bring a lot of innovation. They don't push culture into their products. They make really third-rate products that have no spirit in them. That's Steve Jobs. That's a great quote, dude. I kind of want to... Now they're becoming Microsoft Vista era. Any other members joining? Any other? Well, my life is more than the iPhone, thank God. I would love to get back to doing the stuff that I normally do. Not ranting about iOS. That's not what I care to have be my brand. But I just want to come back to this because I had to get this off my chest. Using a glass material in UI is a great way to keep you in context of an action, like a quick menu that doesn't fully cover the content underneath. Keeps you safely thinking that your content is right there under the glass and you'll be back at it. The problem, however, is that you can't really make out any of the details anymore, and after a while it becomes a mere gimmick. Everything that Apple's doing with liquid glass is a gimmick. It's worse than lipstick on a pig. Anyway, okay, so that's that. That's the article I wanted to share. Chris, it can't be all bad. No, it's not all bad. They're making some decent changes here. Look, so I can't wait to dive into this. I've never built a Mac app, but now that I'm doing vibe coding, at least with web apps, this is all the code you need to use Apple's free private local AI. So basically, I'm going to try to figure out how to build a local Mac app to tap the Apple intelligence. And I said that directly. I'm like, this will have me building my first Apple app. I don't know if I'll share it with anybody or everybody, but it'll have me building it. Android Authority had a great screen. Android 16's Material 3 Expressive shows just how bad iOS 26 redesign really is. Here, I'll just launch the... give me a second, let me switch to that tab. Night and day. Night and day! Night and day. And here's the thing. I'm not a fan of Material 3 Expressive either. I'm not at all. If you're a regular reader, you might know that I'm not a huge fan of Google's new Material 3 Expressive. I'm not either. I don't like it. I really don't. I don't like what Samsung's doing. I don't like what Google's doing. But by comparison, I think there is no comparison. There is no comparison. Which UI design is best? You tell me. A or B? We're at an eye doctor's. Here, hang on. We're at an eye doctor. I'm at an eye doctor. Which design is better? A or B? 3 or 4? C or D? My iOS ruler here, man. It's night and day. It's night and you know what? If Marquez does not call them out on this BS, he's got the clout. He's got the clout. And he should push back on the software. Most tech reviewers won't. Oh, it's so clean. I love it. It's the latest and greatest, and it's so awesome, and I love it. WTF. WTF, people. I may not like what's on the left, but it's a lot more usable than what's on the right. It's designed better. It's a better design. That's the Pixel. That's the experience you get on a Pixel. For anybody wondering, well, how hard is it going to be to switch from an iPhone to a Pixel? Not that hard. If you care about your experience, not that hard. And it gets easier and easier over time. The only thing I don't like is how Google handles its nav bar. I will say this, Apple, if you didn't notice in the keynote, a lot of the apps no longer show the nav bar constantly. It fades away, which is a great change. Long overdue. Liquid glass isn't just headache inducing. It's an accessibility nightmare. Which one's more usable? By default, which one's more usable? The glass icons, too hard to eyeball. Like, everything looks the same. Everything on the right looks the same. It looks the same. I hate that Google did that with all their apps. They all have the same colors. And I'm like, it's different shapes, but I'm like, identify by color. Don, I don't want to hear a word about accessibility from Apple ever again. Oh, he totally loves the new designs. Well, I wish him luck, for sure. I think it was great that he tried. That's the thing about entrepreneurs. I'm very grateful that he tried and continues to try and push the envelope as well he should. Customization is king. Who did it better? But again, I don't like the way Google did it, but I hate the way that Apple did it. Night and day. Night and day. Night and day. This Pixel experience rolling out in Android 16, I think actually today. Throwing stones at Apple's glass house. I mean, cool. I love the idea of those transparent icons. Every time I do something like that, I turn it off immediately. I go back, I revert. A flashy redesign can't cover up Apple's lack of AI leadership or anything. And their BS report about how models can't reason was flawed. There are data scientists on X debunking it. Okay, back to the X post, because this is where I was just basically aggregating everything. Watching this WWDC felt like watching a dinosaur try to do ballet. Technically and aesthetically competent, but spiritually lost. They talked about Apple Intelligence like they just discovered the concept throughout the presentation. There was zero ecosystem thinking and no real attempt to rethink a single interaction model. More importantly, there was zero sense of how to be relevant in a world where interfaces may disappear, apps get abstracted, and AI is the OS. Apple still thinks icons and widgets while the world is moving towards awareness, intent, and delegation. It'll be interesting to see how much of a penalty they will pay for missing this boat. Seriously, he's not joking. Apps are going to disappear. That's a prognostication that I wholly, full-throatedly endorse. Apps will disappear. Dude, the fact that I can do something, I can think you know what? What I want is a touch grass emulator, or what I need is something that does this, or a meeting cheater, or, a textulator, or I can do any one of these things now. Any one of them. Star Wars crawl maker, a Flipatron. Oh, I love this thing. You can say, hey, YouTube. And then it does and you can even hear it. Hang on. Let me see if I can unmute the tab. Can you hear it? And then I built in an RSS feed reader, so it pulls in the headlines. Can you hear that? I built that. I made this. It's something you can use right now over on my arcade. I'm making new apps every single week. Apps are going to disappear. And everybody now has the power to be their own product manager and developer and designer. It does, and all I did is natural language. That's it. But even the idea of this, just to be able to talk it into existence, it's possible now. The fact that I'm doing it, it's possible now. This isn't pie in the sky. Apple hasn't figured this out yet. What was just written? Let me go ahead and mute that. Hit refresh so it doesn't annoy in the background. Apple still thinks icons and widgets while the world is moving towards awareness, intent, and delegation. Smartphones are going to change. The idea of an app is going to change. In regards to the new macOS design, didn't Apple learn anything from Figma? Figma tried a floating sidebar to be more immersive. After listening to overwhelming user feedback, they quickly reverted back to a normal sidebar. Look at the bona fides here. UI design. These are people that know what the hell they're talking about. They're not me, right? They actually know. They've got the bona fides. So will they listen? Will they pay attention? I don't know. Here's the problem. With Windows Vista, I could at least jump to macOS Leopard. Where am I going to go from macOS Tahoe? Where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? And don't say Windows 11, because that's not it. Windows 11 would be a step backwards for me. It's just kind of like, I don't like Google's interface, but I like it more than Apple's. I don't like what Samsung's doing, but I like it more than Google's. Like, it's just these choices. You're in technology, you're in a race that never ends. There's no winner in a race that never ends. Now, this was kind of far. Apple is cooked. This is absolutely the worst design language I've ever seen. AI, ML, spaceflight. These are people that get used to technology. Apple. LLMs are stupid and can't reason. Also Apple. Here's Windows Vista with some broken AI. It's just, they're getting dunked so hard. So hard. And you know what? I am absolutely here for it. Gonna make some popcorn, have more coffee, maybe have a beer later when I do more vibe coding. I'm absolutely here for all the freaking dunks. You know, if I knew I could do it, I'd do like this week in Apple messing up. I just don't think it's sustainable, and I don't want that to be my brand. As much as people remember me hating iOS being my brand, I don't want that to be my brand. Peter Yang, hot take. When you don't have a once-in-a-lifetime genius in charge, building without getting feedback from users until the grand reveal is perhaps not such a great idea. Past 3 Apple WWDCs. 2025 Liquid Glass. 2024 Apple Intelligence. 2023 Apple Vision Pro. Not looking good. I love this. WTF are these animations? Like, it's just so bouncy and jittery and glitz. And again, it's beta. It's admittedly beta. But Apple's been shipping beta in final releases for years. This isn't new. But I love it. WTF are these animations? WTF? Yeah, this is what you get, people. Y'all get what you deserve. I love this one. Did every designer at Apple die? I'm so here for this. I'm so vindicated. It's so vindicating. This cannot be real, right? This is the Finder window, and I'm like, just the macOS Finder window. Look at this nonsense. Look at it. Or don't. Oh my God, it's just so bad. Look at the massive, chunky, rounded edges, rounded corners. I'm not looking forward to that, but I'm really not looking forward to that toolbar. It just looks ghastly. And the floating sidebar thing is absolute nonsense. This is just so, it's piss poor amateur hour. This is amateur hour, dude. Amateur hour. I don't ever want to hear Apple design. Yeah, like, there's my next one. Apple is great at design. Even a side-by-side comparison of before and after with their own stuff. Hang on. Wait. Oh, yeah. Hang on. Oh, much better. Yeah, you just got to look at it through glass. It's so much better. Night and day. Said Apple's attempt at liquid glass is a shining example of why people say it's not the idea. It's the implementation. Imagine making signage transparent. Just imagine. Just imagine. Oh yeah, Apple had a mistake yesterday with their YouTube thumbnail. The play button was right over P. Very unfortunate play button. I think Juan was the person who originally posted this. I've seen other people reshare. Introducing Liquid Ass, which I feel is a fair thing to call it. Honestly, I think that's its name. I think it's now Liquid Ass. I wasn't even sure what to title this live video. I wasn't even sure what to title it. And I did mention, if I was in charge of Android product marketing, I would use nothing but this photo as a reason to switch. I mean, it just, I don't even need to say anything. And I said, yesterday, this is giving me flashbacks. My only regret was not having switched to an Android device sooner. And I loved it. For those that wonder what the iOS 7 launch felt like, just look how bad that is. How is this defensible? How can you defend this? How? With a straight face? How? Well, you change your this and change your that, and you got to... Dude. Yeah, let's count on users to know what's best for them. Let's do that. This I thought was hilarious. Look at this. Camera, iPhone OS 1, iOS 26. Look at that. Everything old is new again. And I said, bring back skeuomorphism. Bring it back. Look at that. Look at that. Apple's design team was handed an impossible task to improve the strongest and most recognizable UI there is. So it's no surprise they landed on something like this. So bad. So bad. Well, that's my feeling. Never been a better time to switch to Android. I may try to give my dad a Pixel to mess around with. I don't think he will. He doesn't. He's comfortable with where he is. But I don't think he's going to like this stuff. When iOS 7 rolled out, I was assured that they would fix all the issues eventually in software. They never did. Fool me once. It's a beta. It's a beta. It's a beta. But this is rough. Lol. I'm telling you, this is going to ship. This is going to ship. Or something like it. Guaranteed. Apple is obviously not paying attention to the details. This is not the nonsense they should have come up with it all the time. This is what happens over all this. Performance is bad, but performance has been questionable on iOS for years, to a certain degree Mac OS. That's going to get polished. Can't say too much about perf, apart from saying that it's never been fantastic since iOS 7. Had a quick poll. Which do you prefer, Apple's liquid glass or running into glass? Yeah, they increased the corner radius of all windows on Mac OS. And I said, this makes me very sad. Look at that. It's just beefy, chunky corners. Like, why? You were just watching the Vista rants yesterday? You should, because I've always been critical about UI things. Oh, and UX. Just turn off auto update. Yeah, that's the thing. Shit user story. As an iOS 26 user, I want a translucent UI that reflects and refracts its surroundings, delivering a new level of vitality across controls so that I can struggle to read. Hang on, is it in front of there we go. Okay. Now you've got, hang on. Let me go full. This is here, it's there we go. What if I did the whole freaking YouTube video like this? What if it was just like this? What if I just there? Is that better? Here we go. We're just iOS 26ing this. Is that good? Do you like that? Yeah. Hi. How are you? This is it. Come on. We're all about the liquid future, and we're liquidy. Look at it. We're liquid ass. There we go. Oh, it's so nice. This is an amazing design. This is game changing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, Daniel, what did I say earlier? Do I look like $1 billion company? Do I look like to you $1 billion company? I'm just curious. I'm genuinely curious. It's not what I get. That's not what I do, right? Not my job. It's not my job. But I can tell you what isn't a perfect interface. I can tell you. Oh, it's breaking, all right, Henry. You got one word right. It is breaking. You got that right. It is breaking. Henry, I like that word, breaking. That's a fantastic way of framing it. Breaking. I love that we're back to, okay, but which of these toggles is on and which is off in iOS? Which is on and which is off? You got to think about it. You got to stop and actually think about it. Nah, dude. Nah, son. Great idea. Great idea. Questionable implementation, and I don't expect it to improve night and day, improve in any measurable way to have me regain confidence in the Apple that was lost after Steve Jobs died. This first beta is the worst jank I've seen in iOS. It's nonstop. Well, it's shock. It's iOS. It's been jank. Okay, that's fun. Now turn it off. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is fun for like 5 minutes. And it's just like, okay, that's too much. That's too much. I'm not going to forget you. Tim did not cook. Tim did not cook. You are wrong. iOS 6 was the best, David. That's my opinion. And by the way, you're fine. You can share your opinions. You can have your own opinions. I'm not trying to convince you that, I'm right and you're wrong, but I'm right and you're wrong. Night and day. Look at that. It's hilarious to me. Oh, sorry. I need to switch back to viewing the tab. Forgot I had it off. Look at that. Sorry. I had it on my face instead of the screen. Got to scroll back. Don't know where there's the performance lag. Where did I cut over? Because I changed tabs. Did you see everything? Now you can see the screen. Thank you, Paul. I saw something. I was like, oh wait, crap! I'm not resharing that screen. It's just bad across the board. It's just bad. There's the rounded corners. There's the lack of readability. There's your cognitive overload in trying to figure out what's on and what's off. Says a lot when the iPhone 10 UX jank just stayed like that forever. I know, but I was telling people that for years and was ignored. Yeah, now people are seeing it for real. Which buttons are on and which ones are off? We're back to guessing. There's the thing you're going to want to turn off in 5 minutes. There's the stark contrast between what Google's doing with Android. So I think the iPad OS is good, like in terms of what they're doing with the UX changes, but it still has the liquid glass problem. So different reasons it's got different problems. And I ask, how is this remotely usable? How could you defend this? iOS 27 will have a feature where the Face ID camera will detect you squinting your eyes and automatically increase the opacity of blurred backgrounds. So they're calling it eyesight. That's a joke, but it's pretty funny. Steve Jobs would have taken you out back and shot out your kneecaps for pitching something with this contrast ratio. I mean, it's so bad. And not in like a Nintendo Power Glove kind of way. It's so bad. It's just so bad. People making the Vista correlations. I think what they're doing with Vision OS is awesome. I kind of wish I have thought about buying a Vision OS from somebody just to play with things like this. This is really cool. Like if they would have brought this kind of experience, but it's impossible. It's a different kind of usability factor. But this is why I'm also looking forward to what Apple's going to do on a more personalized front with the Vision or the glasses. This is the first time I want to prevent my mom from installing the new OS. Apple's lost their essence, their attention to detail. Where's the corner smoothing? Where's the consistency? You see this? This is someone breaking it down. This is just sloppy. Period. It's just sloppy. It's been sloppy for years. This is just putting a finer point on it. Sloppy Joe, sloppy Joe. So bad. This is on the Mac. This is liquid glass on the Mac. iOS 26. Clipboard, no. Better keyboard, no. Multitasking, no. Better notifications, no. Universal back gesture, no. Unreadable, glass design, yeah. Some of the stuff funny, obviously, calling back to Vista. I think Microsoft did a better job with it. Here's the thing. Microsoft did a better job with their glass than Apple did. Not Johnny Ive. Who's a funny Johnny Ive parody on he's to follow. This is a UI UX disaster. Insanely difficult to read. This seems really messy and hard to read, right? The wow starts now. That was me. That was me introducing liquid glass. In theory, cool. In practice, horrendous. I'm sorry, Apple fanboys, but this is actually terrible, and I think you know it. That's my belief. Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I'll give credit where credit's due. My question isn't that feature; it's the UI around it, the Chrome, right? The liquid glass is a problem. Generated that. It's tacky. Yeah, I made that in AI. Who needs legibility? It looks atrocious. That's Ben, Android diehard. I pushed back on a lot of the things he said about the Pixel too. He's a big Pixel fan, but he's not wrong there. Linus went on, underwhelmed. It's not a stunning new design. Apple needs to go back to its roots, make a really good OS, make really good scaffolding for others to make apps and stuff that lives on their device. Apple's frantically trying to find new ways to bump revenue, getting into every corner of your phone, trying to have an app alternative to basically everything. Actually does not stop with an app, literally bloating the operating systems with all sorts of fringe, random use cases that either only applies to like 3% of the users, only works in 9 states in the US. Like, seriously, who truly thought we had left, like, seriously, truly thought we had left this era behind us? That's it. Complete and utter lack of excitement. Completely underwhelmed. Apple's made so much progress on legibility since iOS 7 destroyed it. Oh, God, no. Hell no. Hell no. This isn't even my daily driver. I'm not going to install it on that. This will be another setback, but hopefully something Apple remedies more quickly this time. More blur and less transparency will go a long way. And as a quick fix, they can iterate on over the summer. But like I said, with accessibility, I mean, they're shipping the thing that they want. A big, beautiful contrast and legibility disaster. Although I did say the iPad became interesting again. I'm not going to buy one. And this is when the WWDC thing started. Liquid glass looks cool, but will we see as much jank and slop as we've seen before? Does it fix anything? And the answer, I feel, is no, by and large. And the biggest shock for me is like, really? Apple starts WWDC with Apple Intelligence? I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you for listening to my hour-and-a-half long rant. I just want to say it so if anybody asks, they can tune into this video, watch and listen to this video. As I said in the beginning, thank you for supporting my current efforts and endeavors, either on MakerDeck or on YouTube, certainly. Thank you for supporting in whatever ways that you see fit. Thank you for checking out my arcade and the new apps that I'm developing and vibe coding. I'm going to be doing another live stream later tonight. If you want to sneak peek to what I'm working on here. Of course, you saw the original iPhone. I got to flesh this out, although I'm not thrilled yet with a lot of the details. It's going to take a bit of work, and I'm going to have to refactor the icons in another app. But then I'm also working on Canvas Connect, so you could basically do like a shared whiteboard session with somebody. And so this was vibe coded. You can actually video chat. This works. This is working. I've got a few other things that I need to add to it, but it's pretty much ready. So I've got the things that I need to add to it later will be integrated, and you'll be able to play with it on the arcade. So this is fun. A shared whiteboard session with another person. I mean, it's simple stuff, but the fact that I created it, vibe coded it right is to me absolutely wild that I could do that in the browser and that anybody would be able to go in and use it. It's crazy to me. So I'll be working on that tonight, and then I did a Circlod, which is like let's see here. Adjust the delay, set sleep timer. This one, on iOS, I vibe coded this on Gemini. If you want to know, make it a little laugh. So that one, and then last night I started to vibe code. Started to vibe code a QR code generator. This was all vibe coded, so you can like create a QR code. I mean, this is nothing new, right? You can do QR codes. So I just thought it'd be kind of fun as an exercise. Embed the QR code, randomize the colors. The only thing that I think I want to add to this is the SEO tags and titles, easy to print. Copy to the clipboard, JPEG, SVG, ping, export. This is all vibe coded. I did that. I guess to a certain degree I designed it too, right? Design. Is it perfect? No. Does it work for what I wanted it to be? Yep, absolutely. And yeah, the QR code should work too. At least for the text URL, I think it defaults to the Perillo landing page. Could I add more features? Maybe, but is it warranted? I don't think so. But anyway, this is the kind of stuff I've been doing. Head over to the arcade, sign up. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being a sub. Thank you for subscribing to the new email newsletter to stay up to date. Thank you for joining Discord. Thank you for following. Obviously, I'm very happy to keep sharing my experience. The direction I'm going is less content and more app creation, I guess, on the arcade. And maybe the arcade design is going to change, but I've been doing it. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I've been doing a different live stream. Making things, not just talking about things, but actually making things happen. Have fun, enjoy, share, stay in touch, and thank you. Just thought I'd get it all out there. At least I'm trying to do something instead of just sitting here and complaining. I'd rather focus on the things that I enjoy doing. So I love you. I appreciate you. And at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. Going to live stream on Twitch 24/7. Is it live.perlo.com? Does live.perlo.com still work? Does it still work? Does this? We'll see you later.